Oh, yes, the International is still there. It hasn't moved. One would probably wonder what progress we have actually made on the shop cleanout. And, if you look around, we'll just kind of pan here for a second. If you look around at the shop, you might say, oh, you haven't really done much. Well, little did you notice, I moved these two refrigerators over, and I got a wire shelf back there with filters and fluids and all sorts of other cool stuff. So I did move things. I did do some stuff in here. But it's mainly reorganized clutter. Shuffling piles is the name of the game and the subject of today's episode. So, speaking of shuffling piles, we managed to move this rack of iron that's right here. It is all chopped up and organized. We'll go look at the other side of the skid steer there in a minute and you'll see the rest of it, but we've got some there and all that. There's a lot of cleanup left to do, obviously. We're going to move this rack of iron here. And there is a trailer back on the north side of the shop. Right there. We're going to get it out and clean up this stuff, right? We're going to get a newer pole and put in here, right? Because we're going to redo the electrical in the shop because it sucks. There's only 3-4 outlets and they're all older than the hills. So this is our next push that we're going to kind of make here. What we're thinking, I don't know how this will actually turn out. What we're thinking is we're going to put the International right here. We'll move all this. We'll move the International here. Then we can get the car out of the shop. Right? I'm skimming a lot of details. This is assuming you've watched some of the previous episodes in this series. I know it's not everybody's favorite. It's more for me at this point than it is for you. We'll get the tires cleaned up. I got a spot I want to put them. And I can actually clean that spot pretty good now that I have this. Because as I've mentioned in earlier episodes, we have to shuffle 3 piles around to make room to move 1 pile, and that's just how it goes. Been cleaning up scrap. Surprisingly, I've got this barrel full. I cut open another shuttle for the bulkier items, and I've got a second barrel right there for scrap, but it's not quite full yet. We've got most of the junk iron that's no good pretty well cleaned up, but the rest of this stuff, I might refer to it as scrap, but all this is usable in one way or another. Short pieces of flat iron, chunks of angle iron, this old wire winder gizmo, all of our solid bars, sucker rod, old shafts, and pipe, square tubing, angle iron, flat iron, odds and ends that are sort of flat iron, all goes right here. Much better organized than it was because everything used to be piled on this rack, heaping pretty good. Rest of our stuff over here. Hard to believe all this stuff was over there, but most of it is really worth keeping. This pipe is good further up. We'll cut it off. That goes for a lot of this stuff here. So we've got some usable iron and all that. Biggest thing is it's organized, it's out of the way. So that other rack that we haven't moved yet, it's probably going to go right here. And then we'll just clean up the little, we'll work on little piles like this as we can. Biggest thing is for right now, once we get this moved, we get that trailer out of there, because we're going to put a greenhouse on the north side, I'm pretty sure. That's not related to the shop project, it's just a side note. But we get all this done, we get the tractor moved, then we can shove that pile of wood out of the way and we can get the car out. And then after we get the car out, we can shuffle more stuff around if we want to. Nothing exciting has been happening really, just little stuff. Move piles, clean up piles, move the piles again, reorganize the piles. There's lots of piles around here. Now I can say with confidence that there were no new piles created. It's just smaller piles shuffled around that used to be bigger, right? So anyway, yeah, this is not an exciting video. It's just a short update video on the shop. I know this isn't everybody's favorite series, but I started it, so I might as well keep going on it. The next episode, in theory, will be more interesting. We'll have more actually done. Having that Kubota is going to be a big help around here. Being able to clean stuff up, fix stuff. I need to bring dirt up here. We need to really start landscaping this a bit because we've had quite a bit of rain. and it's been washing into the driveway, and we need to bring all that back up, and blah, blah, blah. You know, being able to move piles of limbs or junk and move, let's say, pile these tires over there. I'm gonna have a tire pyramid one of these days, and then when we far future, when we redo one of the pond dams, we'll use all those tires as like ballast. Excuse me, because they're good for that. So yeah, that's pretty much what's been going on with the shop, and I've tried to do this video about a dozen times, and I think this version will work out okay. So with all that being said, before I stumble around trying to think of more interesting things to add, I'll just get off of here. I'll keep it short and sweet. I appreciate you guys stopping by and showing even a passing casual interest in this project. I do appreciate it. And I should have some better videos out, well, in theory, soon, maybe. I don't know. I hope to see you back for that. And we will return to the shop project when something more interesting happens. So until then, you all take care, and we'll see you later.